Hey, it's James, Father's Rights and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. Here's a point that I just thought of that I would make in court. When a parent says, oh, the child doesn't want to go with the father, or the child doesn't know the father, or the child struggles at exchanges, I would make this argument, how come the mother is so unfit that she can't fix this? This is an easy fix. If the mother has influence over the child, the mother can easily influence the child to want to go. Think about it. When a child has to go to a daycare or for the first day, or their first day at school, or their first day at a camp, or somewhere alone, the mother can hype up the experience and say, hey, it's going to be okay. Look at all these friends. Look at this. And the parent can use that influence to get the child excited to go do what they're about to do. On top of that, when you're about to go on a vacation, let's say you're going to take your kid to Disneyland or Disney World, you will talk a couple weeks leading up to it. Hey, we're going to go to Disneyland. We're going to see Mickey Mouse. We're going to go on the rides. We're going to go do this, and it's going to be sunny. It's been rainy here all the time. We're going to go, and it's going to be sunny. We'll go outside. We'll go to the beach or to the water. Or if you go anywhere, if you're going to grandma and grandpa's out of town and the kids don't feel like leaving, we're going to go to grandma and grandpa's and we're going to play and we're going to have fun. A grown-up can influence their child to be excited about something that they may not be excited about. How much more important is time with the father than a trip to Disneyland? Or even a trip to grandparents or a cousin's house or a birthday party with a friend? Is that friend going to be their friend forever in life? Probably not. If it's a childhood friend, you're going to always be the father of that child. Or an alienating father is if you're a mother and dealing with the alienating father, you're going to always be that child's mother. So why can't this parent, and it's kind of similar to some of the things I've said before, why can't this parent influence the child to want to go? Why can't they encourage it? Somewhere along the line, they discouraged it, or when a child didn't feel like going, just like children don't feel like going to the store, going to the doctor, or going anywhere at one time or another, going to school where all their friends are. You coerce their behavior because you're the grown-up and they're the incompetent child who's not competent enough to make any decisions in life until they could drive at 16, which probably nowadays should be raised like 5 years. They can't do just about anything else in life until they're 18. Because they're considered incompetent to be able to deal with that stuff. It's not like 50 years ago or in the 80s or 70s where, especially the generation before, like people were getting married at 16 or 18 and they already had their career job and buying a house and stuff, and life was a little bit different in those days. Who's the parent here and who's the child? How come the parent is following the lead of the child? Like the guy, I forget what the dude's regular name is. His pages are called I Am Mr. Let Go. And he says, men stop following the lead of women. He talks a lot about relationships. He said, women are children. Most women nowadays are immature children. And, the man was created to be the leader and the protector. And nobody can deny it doesn't make us a better human being or have more value in God's eyes. But men are superior in protecting children and families and girlfriends and wives. You don't hide behind the wife when somebody breaks into the house. So there's some things that we are superior at. Women are automatically, by default, superior at breastfeeding and giving birth. Even though nowadays they're calling them birthing people and trying to say, well, men can have babies or whatever these idiots are saying. So that being said, who's the child and who's the grown-up? And again, like I've said before, if you have a kid who doesn't want to go, has trouble in exchanges, or the mom says the kid doesn't want to go, or the kid's reluctant, and then usually after a little bit, there's another argument, because most of you guys, once you get your kids, you can influence them and they have a great time. You could say, well, when the child comes over after, I'm debriefing them basically, or they have a little cool down time or transition time, everything's fine. So I'm capable of changing their mind because they want to stay with me by the end of the visit. The mother is saying the child doesn't want to go. So either the mother is saying one of three things. I'm incompetent and unable to influence the child to do something positive. Or I follow the lead of the child. The child is in charge in my home. Or she's the one coaching and influencing it, because if you're not trying to do anything about it, then you're either culpable or part of it, or you coach it or orchestrate it, or you let them choose and you are passive aggressively running that show. Because also what they're saying is, hey, judge, I need a court order that says the child shouldn't have to go. Why? Because the child doesn't want to go. So we're asking the judge to follow the will of the child, supposedly the will of the child. Kids don't come out of the womb not wanting their parents. They have to receive some kind of negative influence about that sometime in their life. And if a parent doesn't chop it down and nip it in the bud and remove that bad attitude, just like racism or bullying or talking bad about Susie because she's fat, or talking about Johnny because he's short, or talking about the elderly. I don't have to listen. Look at how they're making fun of the homeless, or anything that you think is inappropriate behavior. You nip it in the bud. How come you don't nip it in the bud when it comes to disrespecting and dishonoring the other parent? And see, the fact that you guys stick with attorneys and all the things I've said, I gave you like 4 or 5 different aspects and multiple different arguments to use. And if the child is so smart as to what the child's best interest is, why don't we put the child on the bench? Because what you're doing, like I said, by default, if you do deductive reasoning and you put 2 and 2 together, this is what some of your guys' problems are. You don't want to think too hard for more than 5 seconds about your case because you're too shiftless and lazy. Oh, I can't think about this. I don't even want to think about it. All you want to do is whine, cry, piss, and complain. Like that's going to make it go away. There's something you could do about every single dilemma besides whine, cry, piss, and moan. Go ahead and whine, cry, piss, and moan, but do it while you're proactively doing something about it. I just did a video about a dad complaining about how the mom's attorney treats him, and the mom's attorney is coaching the mom to disobey the order, but the dad didn't do anything about it. I said, write a letter to the attorney and scare them that you're going to tell the Bar Association that they're coercing somebody to violate a court order. And he's actually got proof because he's got a mother's email. That's an easy solution. This is stuff you guys should be thinking of on your own. But the fact you have an attorney and you don't even think to do this stuff, or the arguments that I just mentioned, the child doesn't want to go. So children rule. Why don't we just make children rule the world? Let's let all 5 to 10-year-olds run for governor, mayor, president, Congress, if they know so much. In fact, let's put them on the bench to make judicial decisions in family court. That would be asinine, Your Honor, but that's the mother's logic. The child says, I don't feel like it. We need to surrender to the child's wishes. Let's put a court order according to the child. Is the child a guardian ad litem? Is the child a parental evaluator or psychologist? Is the child a legal scholar? The mother is arguing everybody should surrender to the will of the child. See, this is the freaking doggone common sense stuff that I talk about that you guys are not even trying. Your lawyer's not even trying. You're sitting here watching my videos and you don't do this stuff. So I keep coming across this stuff because if you're not going to get an appointment with me, go watch all 500 of my videos and learn everything. If you don't care about your kid. While you're spending $10, $20, $50, $100,000 on attorneys. And you know what attorneys do? I got a video with a carton of milk on it showing how attorneys milk this whole thing. They want $10,000 from you. Then they'll talk to you and talk to the other side, negotiate, maybe do one hearing, and then you guys prepare for mediation or arbitration. Then you go to that, and your attorney says, well, you're not going to get anything at trial, so you might as well settle out of court. Or you do some discovery and you exchange paperwork. It's all sitting on their ass, doing nothing, exchange paperwork, yak, talk, do nothing. And then after they burn up the first $5,000 or $10,000, your case is over and they tell you to quit and you surrender like a coward and then you sign off on it and they just made $10,000 and they're on to the next big fat retainer. And it's rinse, lather, repeat. It's the same cycle. And you don't want to get an appointment with me to learn some of these. My YouTube videos aren't the end all be all. That's just a little sample of the one-on-one direct help you'll get with direct answers. I had a great appointment this morning with this guy in California. He listened the whole time. He said this was great information. He didn't even know. And he had already been studying my stuff. Get an appointment or start arguing.